Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hot Tea and MTG. I have no idea if this is going to work, but I want to edit this deck. I want to lay it out and just do some minor changes to it. The long and short of it, you know what? It's 6:42 in the morning. We might as well just mess with some magic cards before work. This is my blue and red deck entitled I Have Lost My Keys and I Could Go for a Grapefruit. I use it mostly just to play against my son, but I keep it standard legal. It's entirely standard legal with the exception of one mountain in here, which happens to be from outside the standard sets. Yeah, there it is. That's not standard legal. Alright. So we're going to make a few changes. First and foremost, I opened this guy the last time I was opening Core 19 packages, and I gotta say, this is badly needed. I have a few of them coming in the mail already, but that needs to get in there immediately. I've had my eyes on the Tempest Djinn, I believe it is, who gets bigger with each island. So I'm gonna pull out a mountain to make way for this. Actually, you know what? We're going to pull out this guy, since this guy is not standard legal. And there we go. This should take care of the tiniest bit of some of my mana issues that this deck has faced. It honestly, it's a dual color deck. I've got 24 basic lands in here. I haven't really had that many mana issues. It hasn't really been that bad. So what you're looking at here are 3 stacks of cards from packages that I've opened. Blue, red, and land. Let's see what we got. We've got the Exclusion Mage. Now I run this in Magic the Gathering Online, and it seems to be it's got me out of a couple of jams. So for a 3-drop, that might go in. I like my creatures with flying. This is pretty expensive. But I think I might have more expensive cards in there. That one would go in. This is a bit of a green hose. I don't know. Maybe I would sideboard this. I haven't built a sideboard at all. And I don't think that thing's going to help me. We'll call this the first 3 sideboard cards ever from my deck entitled I've Lost My Keys and I Could Go for a Grapefruit. Another card I'm looking to put in here, I have many copies of it, just not on hand in front of me, is Deep Freeze. Locking down the opponent's creatures, but more importantly, stripping their abilities out. When I play Magic the Gathering Online, I see a lot of these small teams of 3 to 4 creatures with all having synergizing effects that compound on each other. And Deep Freeze would strip out some of those abilities and cause them not to work with each other, and it would leave them open for flying attacks. So I'm thinking Deep Freeze. I have a little creature control in here, but not much. Alright, not a whole lot. This is more than I thought I had in terms of creature control. Waternaught's a pretty new addition. Lock them down, tap them, and they don't untap. Blink of an Eye is one that just drives my kids up the wall. Although, to be honest, I discovered recently there's another card that does the same thing for only 1 blue instead of 2. And let's be honest, when I play this, it never gets kicked. I never pay the kicker and draw the card. It just doesn't happen, because this is always a card that I play as part of a greater turn. It's never, okay, the only card I'm going to cast this turn is Blink of an Eye. It's always Blink of an Eye and then something else. For example, Act of Treason. This is a big one. I cast Act of Treason, right, on one card, and then Blink of an Eye on the other. So they got 2 monsters out. Guess what? Now I've got one of them and the other one goes back to their hand. Then I attack with the monster. Then maybe I'll cast Mirror's Edge on that monster, making a copy of it for myself. And then I'll cast Thud. This is the combo that... this is the one really synergizing combo that utilizes more than 2 cards in this deck. And it comes out quite a lot. Shock. I don't know. I've been on the fence about this card. When I first got a hold of Shock, I thought it was great. I thought it was the modern day lightning bolt. Lightning Bolt is not legal in Standard, so this is really the best we have. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about it. It's a great way to take control of that first turn creature. If the opponent drops something on the first turn, bolt the birds, as they say. This is the best way we can do that in Standard format. But I'm on the fence about it, and I've whittled it down to 1. There used to be 3 in this deck, and now there's only 1. So this is my creature control. So let's see. That being said, where's my stack of stuff to potentially put in? Yeah. Flying. Exclusion Mage. Return target creature to the opponent's hand, but it's not necessarily a spell. It's a monster that doubles as creature control, so I don't have to use a non-creature slot. So that card I like. It's got a good spot in this deck. Apex of Power. Talk about Hail Mary in a card. You play this thing, 7 cards from your library go, and you have the 10 mana that it costs. You then have to spend on playing any of those 7 exiled cards. This is just, oh my goodness, I hope Shivan Dragon comes up. Let's do Apex of Power and hope it happens. Because here's the thing. It specifically states the 10 mana of only 1 color. So I'm not going to be able to play Apex of Power and then draw the cards required for this combo, because no blue is going to be played with this, making it a complete Hail Mary, at least in my opinion. Then we got this guy. I am a consumer. I have purchased things. Let's observe those things that I've purchased. This is my first, I guess, full art card since I returned to Magic the Gathering. I remember when Unglued came out. Unglued had lands a lot like this, and they were pretty sweet when they came out. They were kind of a big deal in my circle. So this was cool to get, especially being one of the standard legal sets, at least for now, at least until October. So for the next 3 weeks, I'll be able to play this basic land in my standard deck. That's another thing. I don't know I don't have a whole lot of Amonkhet and whatnot. I usually stick to Dominaria and Core 19, but I do have a couple of cards that are going to have to go, so that's coming. Alright, we've got Mountain. We've got a foil Anticipate. I ended up taking Anticipate out of my deck, so that's a little bit too little too late, as they say. I've been using the Avon Wind Mage, so I thought, why not? We'll get a foil. Foil Basic Island. Foil Basic Mountain. Foil Basic Mountain. This was not about getting the best cards. This was just about adding a little bit more swag to the bag. We've got a foil Shock. This is not a foil, but totally about the power it brings to the table. I'm going to get to these guys. Yeah. One of the big problems with this deck when I did the deck tech video was that it was not very fast moving at all. So I put together this team of monsters that are all 1-drops. Artificer's Assistant, my son uses that card quite a lot. Gitu Lava Runner, which is only it's a 1/2 for 1-drop, which is great. And then if you play it later in the game, because that's a problem, you put in these cards to come up first turn, and then they don't. Then they come up 7th turn, and it's like, great, that's useless now. At least at that point, if this guy comes out, he just happens to be 2/2. This is the card that I wanted, the Mist-Cloaked Herald, and I only had 1. So I ordered 4 more, because this guy straight up can't be blocked, which in my opinion should never be written on a Magic the Gathering card, but hey, what do I know? It just can't be blocked. Yeah, but I have one. I got a Mist-Cloaked Herald myself. It doesn't matter. It can't be blocked. So even if this comes out late game, guess what? That guy still means something. This guy, you know what? When I first put him in my deck, it was clearly he's only in there because he's a 1/1 for 1. I didn't have many of those. But I like the idea that if he comes out mid-game and it's too late and a 1/1 guy isn't going to help you, you can just throw him at the opponent, he'll die, but then you still get the 1/1 on another creature. So he has redeeming mid-game qualities, and that's what this is all about. Artificious Assistant. This guy, look, I don't have a whole lot of historic spells in this deck. So the scry ability isn't something I can really take advantage of. I mean, a little bit. I think I have one artifact and maybe one legacy. But the reality is I just needed a 1/1 for a 1-drop monster, and this guy flies. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to take these Artificer's Assistants. I got these three Mistcloak Heralds, and they're going to trade places. Artificer's Assistant's going to sub out. Mistcloak Herald is going to sub in. I feel like I'm missing something. Let's look at the lands. Lands that I've opened up in Core 19 packages. Okay, you got to pay 1 to bring this guy out, but you can add 1 of any color. You know what? I don't think this is really necessary for a 2-color deck, but my son runs a 3-color deck. He tried building one of white, green, and black, and it kind of turned out to be a disaster. He keeps getting landlocked every single time he plays it. I think this is required for his deck. I've only got 1, but it goes for 10 cents on tcgplayer.com, so I'm probably going to order some more just for him and for his collection. Rupture Spire, that is the thing that exists. This one I might put in because I don't know if this is still the case now. I've only played this deck a couple of times since I made the change, but it's generally a pretty slow-moving deck. I get a lot of these really awesome cards that just stick in my hand for a while, and I have to ride it out. This might be a good answer to that. And I've got 2 of them. I don't know that I would play 2 because I don't want to mess with the land base that much, but I am willing to try 1. Alright, so we're going to take out a basic island. We're going to try the Relinquary Tower. We're just going to try it. We'll see how it goes. Adding some swag. There's a foil shock. We're going to take out this basic shock. When this thing comes out, I want people to know. This is so dumb. So dumb. But you know what? Even the foil of this card is like 20 cents. So I was already buying something anyway because I needed the Mistcloaked Heralds. And the Mistcloaked Heralds are also very cheap. So I had to make the order at $2. So I thought, why not? Why not? Let's just get some foils. Took longer than I thought to find a donor mountain to give it a spot. But I went for the ones to come out that I had multiple copies of. So, neat looking mountain, but I already got one on the deck. It's going to come out in favor of this guy right here. I think that's about it for today. I have some more things I wanted to change. Got some more foils. I kind of want to try this. Like, I know it doesn't really fit with this deck. I feel like it needs to have a mono, like a mono red, in order to really work to its fullest ability. But at the same time, it was a mythic that I just opened up raw in a package, so I really want to try it. This is going to get sideboarded, meaning I now have my first ever sideboard. This is the first time I've ever built a sideboard because we never did them in the olden days because I was just playing kitchen table. There was no reason to have a sideboard. Your entire collection was your sideboard. Do you know why? Because you weren't doing best 2 out of 3 games. You were just doing, we're going to play over and over and over again, and we're going to listen to Third Eye Blind CDs and Cake CDs, and we're going to listen to the top 10 on the FM radio and all the other crazy things we don't do anymore that I used to do back in the 90s. Every card was your sideboard in those days if you were a kitchen table guy. So this is the first time I've ever built one. I've only got 4 cards in it. I need to add some more. I need to go get my copies of Deep Freeze and put those in there as well. But I feel like it's been a productive morning, and that's really what's happening. I should get all this under control because you can see my cards. Oh my goodness, come on, man. You can see, I don't know how well you can see that, but my cards are now everywhere. and this is a problem because I have to get ready for work now. But it's been fun. Thanks for watching Hot Tea and MTG.